Well, look, I mean, diversity is quite important actually, and we've got candidates that are different age groups, different sectors of society, a lot of young people, which is, I think, a real plus of the platform that we've created over the last few years, the movement for change, as I like to call it. I think there's a lot of young people joining the party and enthusiastic to put their names forward to the executive. So I think that is big pluses. We've had 30 candidates to contest 16 elected places in the first round, and this is the second round. So I'm very pleased that in the year after the election, you still have this momentum, the enthusiasm, the desire to participate, not just in a party that is 2 months away from an election, but in a party that has come out of an election and that has maybe 3 years to go for an election.
And looking ahead, what's the role of that executive moving forward?
I mean, the executive has different roles. Obviously, it partly deals with administration, partly it's the central policy-making organ of the party. Sometimes we discuss some very serious, fundamental policy positions. And you look, in due course, hopefully if a Brexit agreement emerges, it's that executive that will have to make the judgment after a big debate on whether it's safe and beneficial. So I mean, these are important policy-making bodies. It will drive our campaign for change on the recommendation of MPs and so on. But you know, being on the executive is an important role, and it's also an important role that you've got to take your hat off to people, as I said in my speech inside there, because if anyone wants to participate in politics, whether it's in government, in a governing party or the opposition party, it's important to do so. But when you join an opposition party, you've got to take your hat off because you are willing to stand up and be counted.
Members will also be voting on amendments to the party constitution tonight. Can you detail a few of those?
I suppose that's the dry aspect of today, but that's also important. There's a motion to amend the party constitution that was presented by Joël Ladislaus. It's partly technical. I mean, some of the amendments are necessary because we realized during the COVID pandemic that we didn't have mechanisms to have electronic voting or Zoom meetings and so on, or for the AGM, and so we've introduced that kind of part, but we also took the opportunity to revise the objectives of the party and the powers of certain officers and role, and all of that's been done, and I hope, we don't know, but part of the exercise, the voting exercise today, because people are going to get 2 ballot papers, one for the candidates for the election, for the executive, and the other will be to adopt or reject the amendments put forward by the executive. I hope they adopt them.
One thing you hope the party will continue campaigning is strongly your words on stopping waste, abuse and corruption.
Look, this was a central pillar of our election campaign, and things have not got better. In some ways they've got worse, because the examples that have emerged after the last election show that we were right to campaign on the basis of stop abuse and corruption, because there is an inability to control issues like conflicts of interest. There are intransparent, opaque processes. There are all sorts of issues dealing with contracts or financial or democratic governance, where I think it is important for us to continue the campaign to see a fundamental overhaul to stop abuse and corruption.